Karim Benzema, the phenomenon again, but of course, blinding. You look at that performance, and criminal defending, errors strewn. Chelsea have got to do better than that.
Surely, but this is the best time to play Chelsea for me. I can look at Madrid and they're happy. They just hope Tuesday comes fast. Yeah. So they play the next game, because you don't need to give them the opportunity to
would have loved to play Chelsea today.
Exactly. If there were opportunity to set the match the next day, it would be good, because they're in disarray, team in disarray. But it's been forthcoming. We've seen it in the league, struggle in the league, though somehow they're getting those results. And it's disappointing when you're playing terribly. And on the other hand, results are still coming. It becomes pretentious, because you begin to feel that everything is okay, until you play a big side and you realize it's terrible. But first of all, I like to fault Thomas Tuchel on this game, without taking anything away from Real Madrid side.
He's always gotten that, spot on most of the times. But on the night, there were some questionable calls. Andres Christensen, one of them hasn't quite played, real football, for some time now. This is about the highest level, because we're talking everything at stake. You're defending champion, yes, but this is the most successful side in the history of this competition. And you look across their roster, it screams experience scattered around, from the coach down to the players.
I agree, but you have to also look at the Chelsea side first. You see the names, you see the numbers, young talent, Pulisic on this side. You have on the bench fantastic players. You have Lukaku around too, big name. So you have to see all this big name and consider, what can I do to beat Real Madrid? For me, I think Thomas Tuchel approached this game as if it was another Premier League game, and that has cost them the win for me, as far as I'm concerned. Starting two players who've not really played football in recent times, that has been Andre Christensen alongside Rich James on this one. It was bad decision for me. Look at it throughout the game. Christensen struggled in the first half throughout, basically shouting, because you had Thiago, and he tend to forget Thiago Silva is not the young lad he used to know many years ago. Thiago Silva now doesn't have that speed and strength, so he's mostly calculative. And you look at the first goal, it was a confusion between Christensen and Thiago Silva. Christensen can't pick up the pace of Vinicius Jr. Thiago Silva trying to cover and let Benzema be alone. Second goal, the same thing. Look at the two of them. Benzema just being an open space in between them and getting the goal. Nobody's trying. At that point, you don't do that for me. That's schoolboy. That's schoolboy.
Someone's got to close up Benzema.
Ideally, what they ought to do is someone have to close up Benzema. You need someone to be aggressive there. Whether you get the ball or not, jump with him, shelf him away a little, make it difficult for him to get on target. And none of them did that, especially from my standpoint, Christensen. There's something called shadowing in football. And throughout the first half, Christensen was shadowing football. And the coach had to take him off.
Hey, now, you look again, the middle of the park, Chelsea usually very tidy, clean and tidy. But, lately, it's been disorientation, particularly from the middle of the park, and many points to the inconsistency in terms of the starting lineup. They haven't quite had that. Today it's Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek. Tomorrow is Jorginho and Kovacic. Next tomorrow is Jorginho, Kante. Those changes, you think that's another phenomenon that has affected, the usual stability that has accompanied Chelsea's play, particularly in the park, for quite a while now?
I love the midfield game for me, but what I noticed yesterday was Madrid did something phenomenal. Carlos Ancelotti bringing Valverde into the game, change the dynamic. So it wasn't all about the attack. It was about the blocking system alongside Modric and Kroos, who are good on the ball. Bringing
Casemiro as well.
Yes, Casemiro, then add up the energy, bringing the numbers in the middle, stop Chelsea, because Chelsea play the 3 at the back and the 5 at the middle. So stop that numbers. But I was basically disappointed with N'Golo Kante, because I've not seen N'Golo Kante behave that well before. So sloppy throughout the game for me. Throughout the first game, you could not see any brilliance from N'Golo Kante. I had never seen that, exception of a time when Chelsea lost to Manchester City 6-1. Disappointing N'Golo Kante on the night for me. And that's not the same player we saw last year. He bagged the man of the match award in both legs, and it was all about N'Golo Kante. On the night, it was totally different N'Golo Kante. But on the other hand, from a midfield point of view, also fault Chelsea coach. Look at it. The England star now, what's the name? The young prodigy, Mason Mount. Fantastic player. But on the night, I don't know what Mason Mount is going to do up front in this game. Stick to the midfield play. Make it difficult for the likes of Modric and Casemiro to play that game. But basically, he was just running around doing nothing throughout the first half for me. Disappointing from Pulisic. he had a terrible game. Mason Mount, terrible game as far as I'm concerned. Two players did impress me from a Chelsea point of view.
Outside Kai Havertz, which of the Chelsea players would you say you had a fairly good game?
Kai Havertz was good on the night for me. Kai
outside
Havertz was good. And Reece James just came back, but he gave a good performance of himself, though he just came back from injury.
Is there any way back from this, calamitous outing?
Wow. Before I even answered that, I noticed one thing. What we've been talking about Lukaku all season.
Yeah.
He missed a chance, but I can't blame Lukaku so much. Look at it. Saw at the point of the game, Lukaku, Madrid defender, had some issues. They brought in Nacho. And you know that Madrid is scared. Big striker is around. Launched the ball to Lukaku on time. And Chelsea are basically doing the build-up. In the Champions League, for me, I always don't care about rhetorics in football. Playing the same system over and over and over, even when it's not working out. At some point in the game, you have to change the system. You have to run. Competitiveness, in terms of competitiveness, the Chelsea side were not available yesterday.
We left to the mountain to climb, talk about Chelsea ahead of the return leg at the Estadio Santiago Bernabeu. But it wasn't just about Chelsea on the night. What did you make of Bayern Munich, the Bavarian Giants, the outing at Villareal? They were restricted to no single shot and goal in the entire first half of that, particularly on Arnaud Danjuma, the former Bournemouth striker, delivered the deadly blow, courtesy of that assist from Dani Parejo in the first half. It's now Villareal 1, Bayern Munich 0.
It was an absolute game. Remember yesterday I told you that was the match I was looking forward to because I knew it was going to be a cracker. Most people don't know how good Villareal is because probably they look at Spanish La Liga and they're not the top team in Spanish La Liga, but such a resolute side from the middle wing. Defensively they're good, attacking wise they're good. And it goes long to give a question about Unai Emery's performance at Arsenal. Was the problem about Unai or was the problem about Arsenal? Which I've always said I think it was about Arsenal. But great performance from Villareal side. I remember the other day I was telling you and you were arguing about Juventus, how Juventus were a better side. I know on paper, a lot of teams seem better than Villareal, but when you look at the collection, there's such a fantastic side. And we've seen Bayern Munich struggle over the season, not in the top performances you could think of throughout the season, but one way or the other, I knew it was going to be difficult for them. Just like yesterday, I didn't have the boldness to say Villareal would win, but definitely you know that Villareal are such a strong side, and that game at Allianz Arena will be a balling, toppling one.
No. This kind of performance against the big side with like Bayern Munich with all of the stats apart must give them confidence heading to the Allianz Arena. But you'd say this game is far from over.
It just opened up the game. Now the Bayern side are going to take Villareal seriously because for me, Bayern are in for it. Don't be surprised. Liverpool goes to Allianz Arena and beat Bayern again. As far as I'm concerned, Bayern's performance have not been absolute for me in recent times. There are a lot of young lads and the older generations like the likes of Muller still playing that game. Good side, definitely Bayern Munich. But when you look at in terms of structure, the Villareal side are good defensively. From the midfield point of view, they're very good. From the attack, very good. For me, it's going to be a mountain for Bayern Munich to climb.
All right, so it's a mountain for Bayern Munich to climb.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, the mountain for Chelsea to climb too.
Chelsea is more than a mountain. It's more than a mountain for Chelsea to climb right now. I don't know the magic that can happen. We've seen comebacks in football, but this one is going to be difficult considering Benzema's form.
All right, impossible is nothing. The very words of undoubtedly the greatest, Mohamed Ali. Now let's leave the UEFA Champions League and drop down a bit for. And talk about the second tier, what is tagged the step to greatness. And now this was a goal by Francis Kirkland, ruled out by VAR, at 2-0, you'd say it would have been game over, but it wasn't. Now let's leave here very quickly. And now turn our attention expeditedly to the games expected later tonight in Europe. Two clashes in Germany. First up, RB Salzburg, RB Leipzig rather, I beg for pardon, taking Atalanta in one of the explosive games expected later tonight. And of course, in the other, in the South Coast, we're expecting Eintracht Frankfurt still in Germany to host FC Barca. Xavi's have been different, in the last couple of games, particularly, in La Liga. But explosive clashes, Rangers taking FC Braga in Portugal. And of course, also we've got, other very exciting clashes here. Where will your attention be on?
Well, I think we talked about the three important games we have to look at. And it has to be Leipzig against Atlanta. Big game.
There's West Ham Lyon as well.
I know. Big game. Leipzig against Atlanta. I do not know where he's going to go to right now, because you see Atlanta, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
And it's the same with RB Leipzig. When you have a lot of hope on RB Leipzig, they disappoint you. But for me, I know it's going to be a cracker. For me, I do not see it as a game of many margins, maybe a few goals here and there, but be that as it may, for me, the best team gets to win.
Right. Frankfurt, Barca.
Oh, wow. It would be easy to say Barcelona will get the win for this one, because you look at Frankfurt's form in the local league, not the top-notch side in the local league, but some way, somehow, they've been able to perform quite well at the European stage, and they're doing a bit in that. But you look at Barcelona, they're well formed in the Europa League, you understand Frankfurt would be in for it. But in a game of this magnitude, Brad James, it always boils down to who wants it the more on the night. And I think it won't be an easy game in Germany.
Right. Now it's a good England, you know, talk about David Moyes and West Ham United. You know, they've been there consistently. Not the most glamorous sides, but they do just enough to get them over the line. And later tonight, they face a more experienced Lyon side comparatively, if you look at their head-to-head and exploiting European football.
I'll start with Lyon. Definitely. If you look at French League One, not the best side in French League One. They disappoint you a lot in French League One. But when it has to do with a cup in the Champions League, they're always there, one way or the other, playing the best of football you could think of. But come on, you have to look at West Ham also. West Ham are performing quite well, even in the English Premier League. And having been the team that had beaten Sevilla out of this competition, that's a big morale buster. If I can beat Sevilla, host Lyon, it's going to be a very big game. For me, I don't know where he's going to turn out to, but it's the biggest game for West Ham. If they go through in this round, that will be phenomenal for West Ham.
All right, now let's have the fixtures of the UEFA Europa League on the screen. And of course, you look at the times for that particular clash as well. The fixtures of the Europa League, you know, RB Leipzig will be up against the team from Italy. We're talking Atalanta. That game comes up by 5:45, 15 minutes before it's 6 p.m. We're expecting Barca to take an entry on Frankfurt in Germany as well. And of course, in England, it would be West Ham United versus Lyon and elsewhere. We're also expecting another very massive clash of the night. We're talking Rangers in action taking on SC Braga in Portugal.